Welcome to the Hire Truckers Podcast, where we interview experts in driver recruiting. We provide industry insights, marketing trends, and motivation to help you level up your recruiting game. Welcome to the Hire Truckers Podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Craddock. Today we have a cool episode for you guys. It's the top 7 growth lessons from the 2024 Hire Truckers Podcast. So starting with number 1, small changes lead to major results over time. As we plan for the new year, Luke Wimberly's insights on small repetitive progress as the best way to drive long-term results is a powerful reminder. So many goals are abandoned in January because people don't focus on small achievements and changes and stay consistent with them.
You know, I'm a result-driven person. I don't know, maybe it was the right way I was raised. You don't halfway do anything. If you're going to sweep, then you sweep with all your might and you get every little piece of dirt that you can. If you're going to sweep, then, move things out of the way and sweep under and around. Don't sweep around things. You sweep under things and you move things, right? And I was raised that way. So result-driven is what drives me. It's not money. It's not tangible things. It's really not. It is strictly results. When I do something, I want to be the best at it. I want to do the best job that I can do. And for me to have to go in somewhere and make a change really drives me. And just to see the results, so how do I go into a situation and change it altogether? What's the ultimate goal? Okay, how do I achieve that ultimate goal? Well, let's set a lot of little goals. Okay, and then we start seeing results. So I get a little result, I get a little result, I get a little result. And before you know it, you look back 35 years and you have a huge change, all because of little results. So that's what drives me, is all the small, little bitty results along the way. If I can get someone to answer the phone different, if I can get someone to smile when they're talking on the phone, right? So if I sit here and I really sound like this, and you're looking at me, right? I'm not smiling, but when I smile, my voice picks up. You can really hear a smile. So if I can get someone and coach them along and say, hey, smile when you're on the phone, because you can hear that. And I prove it to them, and I show them, and I share with them all these different things, then it makes a difference. And that one person's turnover goes down over time because they're smiling on the phone. They're building relationships. Let's get another one, So it's all the little results for me because I'm a results-driven person. I don't have to have the major change overnight. I want small changes along the way because eventually you're going to have a big change.
Number 2, never get comfortable and you won't be left behind. Melissa Johnson's advice on never getting complacent has stuck with me. As we enter 2025 as a team, we are focused on continuous learning by staying curious, testing, and focusing on innovation.
I would just say never get comfortable. Be willing to always learn and move. Be willing to bring people with you whenever you rise up or learn something new is really good. So my boss over me, she's younger than me, and sometimes that can be hard for people to have someone who's a little bit younger than them over them, but she's taught me so much. Don't get left behind. Continue to learn, continue to grow, continue to know that it's going to be a different day tomorrow. Every challenge is different, and that you can ask questions. If you don't know something, you can always find a way to learn. Chit chat with your peers, people that you work with, and don't be afraid to ask questions because no question is dumb, especially in this industry because there's so much to learn and every situation is different.
Number 3, choose joy instead of chasing happiness. Tracy Rushing's perspective on joy and how it ties into service to others is profound and a great inspiration for me to focus my mindset on things I can control instead of chasing fleeting feelings. One of the biggest things about this is just having joy and having fun in everything you do. If it's not fun, don't do it.
Well, happy comes quickly and it goes quickly. And joyful is, to me, a state of mind. It's a determination that I've made in my heart that I'm going to serve joyfully. Whether I feel like it, whether my emotions are doing that thing today or not, there is joy in it. Seeing my safety team be successful in a coaching call with the driver who we never see that repeat behavior, or my HR team being able to sit down with the driver who, is coming in because they need employee assistance, because they have something going on in their family, and have them walking away feeling fully supported. There's joy in that because we're pointed at the people. And I know for just a thing that you hear is people are the point. They're not the problem. And when we are able to be well prepared for those conversations, we're going to get it wrong. People are going to make errors, and knowing that and being free to recover from those errors and then have a better outcome or an easier outcome the next time, I think is how you get to joy and satisfaction. Our driver engagement team has adopted that over the last year or so, and still prompted to tell you about that because, for a long time in our industry, we heard that happy drivers don't leave. And I got to thinking about that, and I thought, well, what if they don't have a Hebrew National hot dog at the Flying J, but they only have Nathan's Famous? Then that's, I can't be responsible for the happiness. If I'm happy, if they have, strawberry Monster versus only the vanilla Monster in the cooler, or you just can't. There are certain things that we can take on responsibility for, but whether or not our team is satisfied is driven from, are we doing a good job as a leadership team and saying, this is the expectation. This is how we're going to educate you to meet that expectation. And this is how we're going to coach you when we have a failure. And knowing that going in, I think as long as we are open to being coached, all of us included, and saying, we did the thing and we got the job done and we had a successful outcome, but it could have been so much easier. There could have been less obstacles if we had done it this way, or if we had put things in a different order. I think knowing that that is how we drive our teams to being satisfied and joyful is kind of eliminating happiness from our equation and saying happiness is going to be between you and the Lord, or you and whatever your source is. And satisfaction is something that I can absolutely drive. And being joyful in that is a decision that I can make every day. And I think, monkey see, monkey do. When you have a team of people who say, no matter what happens today, no matter what happens in the next 10 minutes on the next phone call, we're going to be joyful in that. We're going to get to a point of satisfaction. It just makes the road smoother.
Now let's take a minute to thank today's sponsor. Do you hire truck drivers in hard to fill areas, or do you need help creating efficiency in your recruiting department? You're not alone. With 50 plus years experience, Trucking Clicks specializes in data-driven strategies, industry-leading customer experience, and custom solutions that'll get you to your goal. Trucking Clicks is your go-to place for high-quality, direct leads at scale. Visit truckingclicks.com or call 512-982-0816 today. Number 4, be open to conversations and healthy conflict. I used to be uncomfortable with conflict early in my career, but Kimberly DeVoe's words rang out. Conflict can be healthy, and it's imperative to have healthy conflict if you want good overall communication.
And in that, and we talked about this earlier, in that emotional intelligence is very important. You have to be willing to learn. You have to be open to conversations. You have to be open to conflict as well, because not all conflict is bad. And you have to be able to take feedback and grow and learn from that feedback, and then be able to give feedback in a way that people will accept it and grow and learn as well.
Number 5, build and nurture relationships. They're worth the effort. Kendra's humility and eagerness to serve others reminds us that showing up in our relationships is the number one thing we can do in 2025 for ourselves and others.
Never want to be the smartest person in the room, and that's in anything. Even if in my personal life, I always want to be around people where I could continue to grow. I think there's always an opportunity to grow and to continue to learn, because the moment you feel like I know it all, you're failing yourself. So I definitely say take an opportunity to get around positive people that are doing great things, people who are meeting and exceeding goals, and surround yourself with those individuals and take notes, learn from how they brainstorm, how they troubleshoot, how they come up with new ideas, and how they're innovative. So that's kind of my little motto, is just trying to be around people where I could continue to grow even in my current role. I enjoy being around, whether it's other executives, my boss, Tomash, and just seeing how he troubleshoots, how he look at different scenarios as well, too, because that's another stepping stone for me to continue to grow.
Number 6, never assume the answer is no. Elisha Grayson's advice to never assume the answer is no is just the path we need to carry a growth mindset into 2025 and resist the temptation to self-sabotage our success. Let's take a healthy risk and pursue our dreams in the new year.
If there's something that you know the answer is going to be no, like, you might as well not even ask the question. And I'm trying really hard to teach my daughter you don't know the answer is always going to be no. Like, just ask the question. Like, if there's something that you want to know or you want to do, you got to put yourself out there and ask the question. So it's just kind of teaching women that they don't have to be in this little box of that they're raised to be, that we can do more things and act different ways and get out of our shell and, go out and have fun.
Number 7, practice gratitude with a blessing journal. Kelly Jones' advice on keeping a blessing journal and practicing gratitude in a tangible way will help us stay on track as we keep a positive mindset, even when we head into the inevitable roadblocks next year. Keeping a journal is a great way to empower ourselves and see the beauty despite everyday challenges.
Actually, the owner of our company here, who is the best of the best. I mean, you talk about a giving, a generous, if people in the industry know Pat and Linda Patrick, the owners of Kennesaw, I don't even have to shed any light on it. It just speaks for itself, the kind of people that they are. But anyway, she and I were having lunch one day, and, she was telling me, she said, Kelly, if you don't seek out and really notice the blessings that God's given you every day when you're in these trials, that you'll miss them, And she said, this is what you need to do. You need to just get you a little notebook, call it a blessing book. And whenever something good happens to you, just jot it down. It doesn't have to be something huge. It can be anything, and so thankfully 11 years ago, I took her up on that and I did that. And, sometimes I put the book in a drawer and I might pull it back out in a year. Literally. It's not something I can say that I just religiously do all the time. I don't. But is there a lot of things in that book? Yes. And I look back and I realize what blessings they were. I mean, it was just little things, that the kids graduated from this, or my daughter finished college. Now this one's a nurse. This one's through with the Marines. The hurricane, it's just everything. There's so much that we have to be thankful for. And I think I have to be intentional to look at that stuff every day. If I don't, because our world is crazy and can get depressing sometimes. With everything you see on the news and everything that's going on, there is so much beauty in it, and you just have to really focus on it and notice it. It's there.
So that was the top 7 growth lessons from the 2024 Hire Truckers podcast. I hope you guys have a great year, and I'm just super excited about all of our guests from this past year and continuing some conversations with them, having them back on the show, and also all our new guests coming in 2025. So if you haven't already subscribe to the Hire Truckers podcast. Thanks. Thank you for joining us today. Our goal with the Hire Truckers podcast is to provide industry insights, marketing trends, and motivation to level up your recruiting game. If we added value, take a few seconds to share this with your network. Have a great week.